The most important thing people have to understand about this system, the absolutely integral thing to get in your head, is you do not need the money to go to university if you're a first-time undergraduate. Your parents do not need the money. The money will be lent to you by the student's loan company that will pay the university, and you will only have to repay that if you're earning enough when you leave. The people who are saying my parents don't have the cash to pay for tuition fees, that's an irrelevance. They don't have to pay for tuition fees. In a way, I've heard this system described as a no-win, no-fee. If you earn a lot when you come out of university, you're going to pay a lot. If you don't earn a lot, you won't pay much. And many people are scared about this loan, rightly so. I've been telling people, to beware of debt all of my career. But this is a very different type of debt. It doesn't go on your credit file. If you're not earning anything, you don't have to repay it. If you're not earning over £21,000, you don't have to repay it. You only pay in proportion to what you're earning. After 30 years, even if you haven't repaid a penny, the debt is wiped, or if you've cleared it before that. It's a conceptually very different issue to a normal type of debt. You pay it through the payroll, which is, for people who are 17 and don't know what that means, when you work and you have an employer, he normally or she normally takes the tax out of your income. Well, they will also take the student loan out, so the amount of money you get in your hand goes straight in your pocket. The loan has already been paid, and that importantly means there are no debt collectors when it comes to student loans. There's no knocking on your door, "Oh, you owe us the money," because you will have paid it. So while people are rightly scared of loans, this is a different system that needs some thinking to get your head around. The confusion about the new system for many people is they hear about the price tag, the £50,000 of debt that you will leave university with. I wish I could say that isn't true. It is true. If you add up the maximum tuition fee loan and the maximum maintenance loan over 3 years, it's over £50,000. But that actually bears very little relationship to the amount you pay, the cost to you, because the cost to you depends on the amount that you earn. You'll repay 9% of everything you earn each year over £21,000 for 30 years. So the more you earn, the more you repay. The less you earn, the less you repay. And what this actually means is that £50,000 figure, even if you took that borrowing, is meaningless. If you're a lower earner and never go over the threshold, you won't repay a penny, even if you only go a little bit over it. You'll repay far, far less than the £50,000. If you're a high earner, because of the interest that's added on, well, you're likely to repay a lot more than the £50,000 if that's what you borrow. So the system, the amount that you borrow is actually not very well linked to the amount that you repay, and people have to have that brain change about that. As well as your student loan, there are 3 types of grants that you may be eligible for. The first is the basic one that comes for people who come from lower income families below £42,000, which means some of your loan will be replaced by a grant. Now, a grant just means you never have to pay it back. You don't owe it, you're given the money, it's yours. Way! As simple as that. So some of the loan is replaced by a grant for people who come from lower income families. There's also the universities themselves are giving out scholarships and bursaries, which they have to do as part of the conditions for charging a higher fee. And again, that tends to focus on either those from disadvantaged backgrounds or lower income families, so it's very worth talking to them. And then there is a whole other range of charity type grants and scholarships that may be available because of maybe where you come from, what your parents do, dad's a fireman, might be a grant available there that you should look at too. So please don't think the loan is the be all and end all. Go and have a look what other finance is available for you, and hopefully some of it you might not have to pay back. When people go off to university, their parents or their grandparents go, "Now Johnny, you've got to do a budget Johnny, or it could all go wrong, it's really important you do a budget." And it always makes me laugh because as a working person, I know I shouldn't spend more than I earn. But as a student, you shouldn't spend more than... And when you say that to people, they go, well, you just need to budget. Well, you can't budget unless you know your income. So here's my quick potted guide to what your income is as a student. It's any money you get from a loan, any money you get from a grant, any money you get from working, and any money you get that your parents have given you. Add those up. That is your income. I didn't include your 0% overdraft. I didn't include credit cards or any other form of debt that you've borrowed. So you can't do a budget unless you know your income. Once you know what you're earning, then you can make sure that you don't spend more than it. Real seismic changes for part-time students. Probably bigger changes there than for full-time students, in fact. In the past, you've had to pay your fees up front if you want to go to a part-time course. Now, most courses, you're going to get a loan. Unfortunately, the fees have gone up, that's the bad news, but this loan is just like the loan that full-time students get. You will only have to repay it once you're earning above £21,000, and then you only repay 9% of everything you earn above that in exactly the same way, which means if you don't earn a big salary afterwards, if you don't earn above that threshold, you'll never repay anything. You don't get a maintenance loan though, you're going to have to look after your living costs for yourself, but this new system that you no longer have to pay your course fees up front should enable some people who couldn't previously afford to do a part-time course to do one now. The most important message is you can afford to go, but you need to know what it's going to cost. Because unless you've actually sat down and understood the costs of university, how on earth can you work out whether it's worth it? So I would suggest everyone take a little bit of time to understand exactly the costs, make sure you know how it works. But please don't be put off going just because of the fights and nastiness that you've seen in the paper. That's politics. I'm all about the pound in your pocket, and the pound in your pocket says you can go.